Hello, my name is Miss Bibi Laufi. I'm a support staff in class in 1S with Miss Whitney Simon. And I also do intervention. I'm the lead intervention for phonics and spellings. Yeah.
I am Martin Stanley. I am the inclusion manager at Tollgate Primary, and I'm an assistant head teacher. I work with the mainstream SENCO and the resource provision leads. Evidence for learning is used particularly to capture the challenges that children face and the successes that children face. The evidence that is used to have reflective inquiry in our planning meetings so that we can really understand the next steps for children's learning. We use it collaboratively. For example, Ms. Bibi is the phonics teacher, and David, one of our pupils, attends phonics with Ms. Bibi. But he also attends mainstream phonics, and we want his learning to be transferred when he's within the provision doing that early reading and writing. So Ms. Bibi would be able to tell us how she uses that evidence.
Yes. When I do intervention with David, I will focus on the sound of the week and what sound the class is doing. And then when I do my session, I will always go to the teacher and feedback to the teacher and Miss Abby as well, because she's the one-to-one teacher. And I will say to them how David is getting on. And if David is having problem with the sound, I will always tell them to recap again the same sound.
And then check.
Yummy.
Yeah.
It's interesting to understand David's trajectory. When on entry to Tollgate, David was undiagnosed, and there were some challenges that he presented with, but we needed to also capture his strengths. The parents did not really know whether they wanted him within the resource provision, as he has an older sibling within the resource provision, or whether he wanted that he should be based in mainstream. But by using the app, we could actually carefully see what he can do, which lessons he could access, and where were his difficulties. So currently, David is having a hybrid of provision within the mainstream and the resource provision, with an intention in the new academic year to have more opportunity within mainstream and enter the provision for bespoke therapies.
My name is Whitney Simon. I am the mainstream SENCO and also mainstream class teacher.
Hi, my name's Abby Mehmet and I'm the provision teacher. That means I run a classroom in a mainstream-based provision, and I have 11 children in the class.
David is in my class and he comes to class every morning. He partakes in the daily routines, so he does his handwriting, takes part in register, and also takes part in phonics. During his phonics sessions, I will feed back to Abby the successes and the areas which he didn't quite get or understand, which she will then recap and go over again in her session. So we tend to work very collaboratively, just to make sure that we're capturing the holistic child. We're getting all of his areas of needs met, both in mainstream and as well as being supported in the resource provision.
He came in as a mainstream child. We identified that he had specific areas that he needed help with. Then we could use the evidence for learning to baseline his needs and specific areas that he really needed intervention in. Once we did that, we could then start to specify different activities and work at his different level of needs to get him to access mainstream class as well as provisioned class.
David isn't able to access the curriculum as it stands, so what we do is we work towards David's strengths, and we adapt our mainstream curriculum to help support him and help him to be able to access his learning. Again, with everything that I do in my class, I then share my successes, areas of improvement with Abby, who then evidences it through the Evidence for Learning app.
We have a very specific curriculum that we work on that's very adaptable for each child, and we can then progress this through the evidence by videoing and taking pictures, and that helps us to both send it home to parents so they can see the successes that he's actually achieving, and we can evidence that and use that in his annual review at the end of the year.
And I think what's great as well is the fact that the parents are able to capture both sides. So not only seeing David in mainstream, but also seeing the work that's happening in the resource provision. So they're able to get the best of both worlds, yeah.
Our class is very hands-on. So if we're doing something practical like farm animals, we'll be milking cows in the classroom, and we'll send a video home so they can see that it's very hands-on. The children have a hands-on experience as well as accessing like mainstream work as well, which is quite good for David. Dad always says that he shows David the videos, and David is so happy about it because he can also then have the chance to bring home what he's seen and then tell his parents what he's done. Parents can upload and send us videos. We, in my classroom, like to do retail. So on Monday mornings we do weekend news, which is really nice because we can upload any and print off any pictures that the children have done over the weekend that parents have uploaded, and put it into their book, and the children can write about it. Some of our children, if they have difficulty and don't have the skills to write just yet, we also discuss the photos, and we get the children to match maybe pictures of their parents in the photo with them, and how we can discuss certain things with them. And this helps us to communicate and develop their communication skills. And children really like the fact that it's a cross between home life and school life.